Welcome to another episode of HCP Visits. Here's your host, Woody Watts.
I am Woody Watts with Hill City Paranormal, and I have a very special guest with me tonight. I have Jeri all the way from Oklahoma with me. Thank you so much, Jeri, for joining me.
Well, thanks for having me, Woody.
Oh, yes. Well, again, Jeri, as you know, a lot of the paranormal community is on Instagram, Facebook, and that is where I found you and your fun personality and some of your investigations.
Yes, I like to be fun, have fun, and if you're not having fun with an investigation, then we might be doing it wrong, right?
That is right. That is absolutely correct. So, Jeri, tell me a little bit about your paranormal background. Like, what got you started? Well, first of all, you are a paranormal investigator, and you do solo and team investigations, right?
That is correct.
What got you started doing investigations and even interested in the paranormal in general?
Well, interest in the paranormal in general, I've always had and had experiences and seen things since when I was a child. We grew up in a family that you really didn't talk about it, but they didn't tell you that they weren't true. So I'd never turned my abilities off. I just didn't really know what to do with them. And as a single mom, sometimes you have empty nests. And about 3 years ago, it's been about 3 years ago, I needed to fill some time to kill from the empty nest syndrome. And so a friend of a friend posted that they were looking for team members for paranormal investigators. I'm like, gets me out of the house for, on the weekends, keeps me off the streets, kind of, sort of, but, and and it's just kind of gone from there. Whenever I interviewed for the team, I tell Kale, he's a co-owner of my team, and I tell everybody that he lied to me. He said that 99% of the time we're sitting in the dark talking to ourselves and nothing ever happens. So with my second investigation, there was just, I found a calling that really needed to be filled, not only for me, but I think for a lot of people in need.
Oh, that is amazing. Well, I want to go back a little bit. You mentioned your abilities. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I'm a mystic. I have all of the clairs. I see, hear, feel, taste, smell. I have visions. As I've noticed, as I have been on the team, the longer that I'm on the team, and then I'm around more like-minded people, my abilities have become a lot sharper. I have learned how to distinguish between what I think is happening and what a message that I'm getting, those kinds of things. So sometimes you'll have a thought and like, is that really me thinking that, or is that a message coming through? And I've kind of learned how to distinguish the difference as they come to me.
Wow. So how long have you known you've had these abilities?
I want to think, if I think back, I've seen shadows and had, I don't want to say invisible friends, but I guess that's what they call them these days, as long as I can remember.
Well, tell me.
We used to camp out a lot. So. Well,
tell me about some of the I guess the early interactions that you had that gave you the thought that you may be, or that you may have abilities.
Like I said, since I've had them all my life, I just thought that everybody had them. And we'd go camping a lot. We used to go camping every single weekend. And as I'm looking back, I think maybe those were like fairies or sprites or something that I used to chase through the woods. The birds used to come to me. They're animal whisperers. I used to get a lot of the wild animals that would come to me. And they're like, my dad'd be like, what are you doing with that bird? I'm like, I don't know. He just came and sat by me, So I think that those were kind of the spirits preparing me for things later in life, so I wouldn't be scared of them. Because a lot of people, unfortunately, are scared of their abilities. They don't want them. Yeah. I'd like mine.
Yes. Well,
most days.
That's great that you've embraced it. And so lead me into where you feel like I guess the cases have basically, like you said, the spirits were preparing you maybe for later cases. Tell me about some of those investigations and cases that lead you to think that way. Okay,
so my first investigation was after I've had a few, it was fairly normal. Looking back, comparing to what I've had, was on the USS Batfish. It's a very active dry dock sub in Muskogee, Oklahoma, which is funny now that I think about that. My next was also in Muskogee. There were like smells, or like smelled coffee. It was on the deck, things that you would smell on a ship. Those are the kinds of things I had. I heard whispers. I felt touches, but again, being early in my investigative career, I'm like, did I really feel that? Can I debunk it? Those kinds of things. Now, my second investigation, knowing that this was going to happen, I'm 99% sure that Cal would not have invited me along on this. It was a residential. We had no information on it. We were just told that there were activities in the house. So we weren't even there 5 minutes. And I thought it was also again in Muskogee, Oklahoma. And I was a little nervous, I think. And so my stomach was kind of feeling weird. I thought, well, maybe it's nerves. Maybe I had too much coffee or ate something, that didn't quite sit with me. Looking back, I know now to pay attention to those signs. We weren't even in that residence 5 minutes and things were starting to happen. I felt nauseous. I had ringing in the ears. I was standing in the hall talking to another investigator, and I saw a dark figure walk across a room. And I'm like, okay, that had to be from something outside, right? Because here I am still green. So we continued to set up. So we did a little video about things. I'm glad they documented this because I would not have remembered everything. I went outside to make sure that there was nobody outside that would have caused a shadow. There was nobody else in the house. There were just three of us. The owners had left. And even as we were still setting up, we took one of those fishing lights, where you go fishing. And we put those up, and that was continuing to go off. So later into the evening, the REM pod in another room, we were all in the living room, and the REM pod was in the room that I had saw the dark figure walk across, started going off. We go in there, and again, I'm like feeling, my stomach didn't feel very well. I didn't feel afraid, but I didn't feel quite right. So it was kind of funny, but not funny, but the light blew in the room as we were talking through doing question answers through the REM pod and through the ghost box. Kel had asked, who is it and what's your name? Because, you always want to know who they are. And it came across Legion. So, and that right there tells you, we've got something that is not of the positive. So It was setting off the REM pod on command. And it wasn't just like beep, beep. It was, hold it and then stop, and then it would stop. It was pretty crazy, and again, being so green, I'm like in awe. And then I told Cal I was not feeling well. So we went out and got holy water and some anointing oil, and he prayed over me, and I felt it come off of me. I didn't realize, I guess it kind of, they're sneaky. I guess it kind of snuck up around me. And once it released me, I felt it like somebody had their arms around me and was kind of squeezing me. So that kind of left, and I saw it. The room was dark at this point because the light had blown. Saw it go over, release from me, and go over to the other investigator in the room. And it, like I said, it kind of like wrapped its arms around her. And so Kel went to pray over her. And we decided after we got it off of her, it kind of scampered off into the closet, I think is where it went, where there was a crawl space. I can't remember exactly where it went. So we're like, okay, we're going to go ahead and move to another room to see what else is going on here. And so we went to another room. There was a little bit more dark entity over there. And then we decided to take a break. So I go outside again. I'm still green. I'm still a little skeptical at this point because, I could have been nervous.
Sure.
And I go
Butterflies
outside.
and anxiety. Yeah, maybe.
Right. So I go outside, hug a tree because I love hugging me a tree. I go love hugging me a tree. Right.
That's Jeri's tip.
Trees are-
If ever you're scared in an investigation, go hug a tree.
Go hug a tree. And I love to hug a tree. Yeah. So I go out of the car and I grab a drink, grab a snack, and then I come back in and I push the door shut. Now this door is one of those older, really solid, not the hollow core that you see in most houses today. And it had the diamond shaped cutout. Well, there's also a screen door that it's one of those old silver metal ones that creaks and whenever you open it. So it was very loud. So, if you don't catch it, it makes that big banging sound. So I had thought that I'd push the door closed. We went out to the garage to see if we were felt anything out there. And then when we came back in, as we're walking back in through this side door from the kitchen to the living room, the door starts coming open. And Kel and I look at each other, and Laura and I look at each other, and I'm like, okay, it's possible I didn't quite shut the door all the way. Possible. I'm going to own that. So we shut the door and we made sure it was locked, not locked, but it was firmly shut. And it was really hard. In order for you to open it, you had to turn it and pull pretty good because it was kind of snug in there. And so a little bit later, we're standing there and we're trying to decide what we're going to do, if we're going to do some more in the kitchen or, because sometimes you might want to go back to the same area. So we're talking and then the door starts opening again. And we all look at each other like, get the camera. And so we shut it on, and I think it opened. There's a video I posted on my latest blog post that to the door opening. And I'm standing there going, what is going on? This can't be happening for real, right? You only see this on TV.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, okay, so it opens on demand. And if you watch close, some people don't like to know what they're watching for. So if you don't want to know, close your ears. Mm-hmm. If you watch in the window, it looks like somebody is walking across the porch outside, but there's no way that anybody could have opened that door from the outside without opening that screen door. And that screen door was pretty loud. So, we watched that for a while, and I think it opened probably 3 or 4 times total. And it was crazy for me. Again, Kale says we only sit in the dark and talk to ourselves. We don't ever get a response, and here I am being thrown in.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I have chills. I have chills right now, and I'm gonna have to cut the light on. I had the light off in this room, but I don't know. I'm rethinking that.
I got you.
Oh my gosh.
Circle of protection.
That is amazing.
So it is amazing, and I don't ever remember being frightened. Is the thing. I don't remember being frightened. I just remember thinking, I'm not prepared for this.
Yeah.
But here I am. What am I going to do? I got to dig in my heels and I got to hit this head on. I'm not going to show that I have any fear. And I think that is kind of what Spirit was looking for. Because, again, I was just looking to get out of the house on the weekends because I didn't like being home by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are gone. I just have the cats and the dogs. And I'm not really a big go out party person anymore. I'm old. I don't need to do that. So here I am being thrown in all this stuff is happening. I'm like, holy crap. So when I went home on the way back, it's a 2-hour drive from where we were at. On the way home, I'm thinking, man, I've got to figure out what I'm going to do. If this is what's going to happen all the time, I need to know how to protect myself, for one. I need to know how to deal with these things, number 2. And what if I need to protect somebody else? How am I going to protect them? So with that, it seems that we get a little bit more the negative cases than a lot of people, and we're referred by a lot of the other teams because they don't feel comfortable or they don't feel like they have enough experience to deal with those kind of things. So, from the get-go, I've been dealing with those kind of things. I love to go and just listen to the little spirits, the little children that like to, they just want an adult to talk to, somebody to recognize them. I love those. I don't go chasing demons by any means. I don't go chasing the negative, but I have, I think that's my calling, to help those who don't know how to protect themselves.
That is so Yeah, I love your point of view of that. For one, leaving an investigation, and then I love what you said about being prepared to help someone else if need be, because like that is a thing. Like, I mean, we go out and do investigations, and I've been with some other teams, gone on and videoed with them where they did some intense investigations. And you're right, if you're not prepared, it can be life changing and not necessarily in a good
It
way.
can be life.
You know?
You can walk away with an attachment that stays with you for a long
Yes.
time. And you have to know that you have power over this, and you have to have your faith, whatever your faith is. I don't care if you're Catholic, you're Wiccan, I don't care. If your faith is in this pen that I'm holding in my hand, then your faith is in that pen, and you better hold strong to that faith, because your faith is going to get you through whatever you come up against.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
So, I mean, you can have all the oils, all the stones, all the things, but until you have that faith, those are just trinkets.
Well, you know, that is so yeah, that's interesting that you feel that way, because I feel the same, in that we had gone on a few investigations, and I had the feeling that not as intense as your feeling, but that the one where I felt like I was not prepared, you know, just in case things got deeper and more intense. So I then, not that I had not introduced my faith into it before, but I relied more on my Christianity, my love of God. And then, so I started wearing bracelets that had Bible verses, and start bringing a Bible in my backpack, just to have that layer of protection. Because you're absolutely right. And you know, the next one we went on, I instantly felt stronger because of that. Because it's like you're behind it. You're protected by the shield, basically.
Right. And I do have to add that my firm belief is we are all light workers. I believe we all have abilities. Most of us that are drawn into the paranormal, we have abilities, whether we actively try to increase our abilities and learn how to hone them to help us with our investigations. The dark sees us as that light. And not only are the angels and the spirits drawn to us, so is the dark. And that, to me, again, means that you need to be prepared for anything that you might run across.
Yeah. And you know what I'm finding out too, talking with a lot of investigators and just people in the paranormal community, is everyone really is in it. Well, most everyone is in it to help others. It's you want to be with your friends and be on an investigation and go exploring, but in the end, you really want to help people if they're struggling.
Right.
You know, and if they can't live comfortably in their home, then, you know, you really want to kind of help them through that.
Right. And I always tell everybody, I can't do this for you. I can come in and cleanse your house 1,000,000 times. But if you don't hold on to your faith and take control of your house, it's going to come back.
Yeah. Well,
so
that is all right. So I've got, this is a bit of a side question about that investigation, and understand this is
okay.
This is the movie making part of me and the special effects part, the movie guy. All right. What did it look like? Like, describe the look of, you said that it
looked like?
Yes. Of the one that let go of you and went to the other investigator.
I'm 99% sure it was the same thing that walked across the room when we first got there. It wanted me to know it was there, and I think it knew that it was going to test me because I was green. But it looked like a person, had the person-ish kind of form. It was dark, and it moved kind of, it wasn't jerky. It was like a smooth move, but the darkness was static TV, but all dark. There wasn't the white. It was just kind of, it wasn't quite opaque, and it wasn't quite solid. There was no like fine line. It wasn't like somebody took a marker and drew. It was just kind of, I don't even want to say smoky, but it was just there. I think it probably could have taken any form that it wanted, but I think the human body form. I don't know if it would have just been like a black blob if I would have paid as much attention to it. Because it could have been just a shadow from a car passing by, or you never know, a moth flying across the bulb. So, but the person shadow kind of, I'm like, what was that?
Yeah, it
the word I
it
wanted
drew
to
your
say
attention.
was like, no, it drew my attention.
So tell
it
me,
does that a lot. I get a lot of attention.
So tell me then how. All right, so that was as a team, right? So then,
yes,
you also go on solo investigations. Like, how do you go from a team investigation where that happens on your second trip, and then you do solo? So how do you approach them differently?
Not really, because you want to be prepared. You want to know your surroundings. If you go to a place like it's an abandoned building, you always want to make sure you have cell service in case something to happen. And I want to tell everybody that don't go by yourself as a general rule. Okay.
Yes.
Just because I'm going someplace, doesn't mean that everybody should be doing that. Now, I do want to preference that a lot of the places that I do go by myself is during the day, and I have permission to be there. I did stay overnight by myself in a haunted hotel. I had the whole hotel to myself. It was amazing. I didn't sleep for almost a week. So
oh my gosh! Tell me about it. Yes.
I don't know if you know about Granbury, Texas. It's a beautiful little town. Pretty much everything on the square is haunted. There's a place called the Nut House Hotel. They've just changed owners, and they're supposed to be revamping that, and we all know what that means when they start doing renovations. Yeah, it's great. So I'm ready to go back to that as soon as they get done. But that one, we were doing a charity event with some celebrities, and I can talk about that too later if you want to know about all the funness. And there was just so many of us. I came from Oklahoma. The team that I worked with was from Texas, and they were hosting, and I just kind of was helping out. I wasn't going to get the opportunity to stay in the hotel that we were going to investigate as one of the 4 locations. And I'm like, you know what? I have some time. I'm going to go down and I'm going to do my first solo thing all by myself. So I really, really wanted to stay in this place. And so I did. I went down on Wednesday night, and I stayed Wednesday. And of course, I set up my grid, and it wasn't like really crazy. I turned on the 360, and the 360 went off a couple of times, and I tried to video a little bit. Nothing happened. And I'm like, okay, well, so I went down after I got settled in the room. I was doing a walk around, like video chat with one of the girls on my team, and she's also a medium. And I said, hey, the hotel's for sale. And I'm outside, and it's pretty late. It's probably like 9:30 in a small town, Texas. Everything rolls up, right? The sidewalks roll up, and nobody's out there. And she goes, well, how much is it? And we both clearly hear a man go, a lot. And I'm like, so I'm like taking my flashlight. I'm like, okay, there's nobody else here. And she's like, did you hear that? And I'm like, I heard that clear as day, a lot. So I'm like, okay. So I kind of walked her around this town square, and it took all of like 5 minutes, because really it is like a city, not even a city block.
Yeah.
Took her by the jail, and you can kind of feel the spirits, and hey, I've seen you here before, because it was not my first time in town. That was my first time staying in town. And so I took her by the courthouse, and, we did the whole walk, and then, we heard a couple of other things. And then after that, I turned on the ghost box, and I went over, now I also don't recommend single women walking around midnight by themselves in a strange town.
Yes.
Please do not do that.
That is a good disclaimer.
Please do not do that.
Absolutely.
Be safe about but this is a very small town. It's very safe, and people knew where I was at. So, again, be very safe when you do these things. So I walked over to one of the historical centers, and across the ghost radio, I'm called names all the time by entities because, well, 1, I can take it, and 2, I give it right back. It's right.
Yeah.
It's come across, it says street. I was literally standing in the middle of the street, and I felt a cranky person, and I wasn't quite sure where it was coming from. And it had said something like street calls me a demon and then die. And I'm like, oh, well, nice to meet you too. So the next morning I had asked, sent a message to one of my friends who was hosting the event that weekend. And I said, so who's the cranky one? And he goes, you must have been over by the center. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, he's kind of cranky. So don't take it personal. I'm like, oh, I'm not taking it personal. So I just know that when we're investigating that one, he already knows he doesn't like me and I'm going to have to deal with that. So
Yeah.
I get that a lot. But as far as when I went back after I did my little walk around and talked to this town, it's kind of funny because each town, the spirits have their own personalities. This town, the spirits are very polite. So, excuse me, can I talk to you? They're like, oh my gosh, you can see me. But I've been to other towns where they don't even ask. They're like jumping you the whole time, like, dude, you gotta back up, take a number. But this town I love this town. It's just amazing. If you ever have a chance to go to Texas, I highly recommend this place.
Yes.
But so anyway, I go back after I, do my little walk around town. I go back to my room, I set up my grid, and I sit there and I'm like, okay, so what's going on? And I had seen when I was getting settled in, there's children on the second floor, and I could see them and hear them kind of playing in the foyer. And when I say children, these are not living children. Let me make that, because my friends always ask me, are these living people that you're talking about? I could feel them and see them and hear them. And again, I'm in this big building by myself. It's an old building, and I'm hearing things. I'm hearing door knobs rattle. I'm hearing voices. And so I take myself, all the other rooms, the doors are open. They don't lock them because it's an old hotel. And she goes like, yeah, you're the only one here. Go do what you want. And so I'm like going in the other rooms. Well, there's some rooms I'm like, oh, I feel like I interrupted something. Pardon me. I'll be back later. And then I'm standing there looking down the hall on the other side of the building. And there are these screen doors where they've closed off one side of the room. And I didn't know this until I went to investigate, try to debunk stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like the screen door came open. And I'm like, I turned around. I'm like, I know I'm the only one here living. So, yeah. Okay. I hear you. Come talk to me. And of course they were just making noises. And so I was like trying to debunk stuff. I'm trying to walk up down the hall to see if it was me that was maybe moved the floor and made the door. And I tried to open the door. I'm like, wow, this thing is even screwed shut. So I'm like, okay, so I don't know what that was about. And then it had rained. I finally about 1 o'clock. No, it was later than that. It was probably about 3 o'clock. I decided, I'm like, okay, we're not getting a whole bunch of stuff. I have all day tomorrow to adventure, and I'm going to go to this other little town a little bit further away to check that out. And I'm like, I'm going to go to bed. Well, about 5:30, this big storm rolled through. Being a mom, you have kids. I'm like half asleep, and I feel somebody crawl into bed with me. And I'm thinking, kids. I'm like, it's okay. And then I'm like, wait, my eyes open. Wait, I'm the only one here.
Ooh.
No, it's fine. It's okay. Come on, crawl up here. And then I'm like trying to connect with whoever called. And it was a little boy, I think, was the one that came and crawled in bed with me because the storm was really, really loud. It woke me up. So not a whole lot of things that I could prove that happened to anybody else, but I know that they happened, and things that after talking with people who have stayed there before, they corroborate the things that I had experienced.
Oh, wow.
So it was a fun little stay.
Yeah. Now you mentioned that you were there. You mentioned that you were a charity event.
Yes. We did a charity event for Battle Forge Nation. One of the teams that I know in Texas, they were raising funds. They do a fundraiser once a year. And I don't know what shows you pay attention to, but we had our guest celebrities were Mike and Chris from the Tennessee Ray Chasers, Haunted Towns, Haunted Asylum, or Ghost Asylum. Sorry, I get that wrong. They'll get on to me. Those guys, that's like I think that's the fourth time I have worked with them. They are amazing. They are so much fun. The spirits love them, and they always bring it. I don't care if we're standing in the middle of a restaurant and we want something to happen. The spirits love them, and I can almost guarantee you something will happen.
Yeah.
Super amazing guys. So that was one of the first times I have done a large event like that. And to me, I love the small groups. I love doing it by myself. But my view on the big events like that is it's a way to introduce people who are curious in a very safe way and to have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
And, we know that there is no negative there that will, it's safe.
Exactly.
So, and we have a lot of fun. So to me, there's merit in any way that you do an investigation. And, it gives them a chance to meet and greet with somebody that they may not be able to do, like Chris and Mike. And they're just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what I found in that I've talked about it on several times is that we do an event at our local academy center around October where we do
Mm-hmm.
haunted history tours. And my favorite part of that was at the end of each tour, we had a table set up where you could come talk to us and ask us questions, and we kind of, that was my favorite part. Is people coming up, sharing their stories. Like when they come into the building or come to the event, they're very timid and really don't, really talk. And then that you go through an experience like this together, it is like they're a completely new person and want to share every story with you. And I loved every second of that.
I love that. And one of my favorite things is when they bring the children, and the kids are just like, man, they are on it. They know the questions to ask.
Yep.
They are not afraid. And the parents are like, I'm sorry that they're asking so many questions. Do not be sorry. No. You go home and you buy this kid an EMF and a flashlight and a recorder, and you let them have at it.
Yes,
okay?
and here's a T-shirt and sticker. Take it.
Here's a T-shirt. Here's my phone number. Call me if you have any questions.
That's exactly right.
So, but I love the little kids, I mean, we have so many, this is a whole other thing, but star seeds and blue diamonds that are coming, and they have all these abilities, and, a lot of the parents are like trying to squash that. Don't squash that. Let them talk to them. And if they feel uncomfortable with something, they'll let you know. These kids are smart. They're a lot smarter than we are. So,
Yes. Well, tell me how an investigation starts with you. Like, so I know that you have a team and you do solo investigations. Are you contacted, on social media, a website, phone number, or do people know that you do this? How does an investigation start?
All the above. Like I had mentioned previously, we do deal a lot with negative entities. We're referred. We try to stay pretty close because we have a small team, and we all, unfortunately, everybody thinks that ghost hunters, investigators make a lot of money. We don't make anything.
Nope.
It's really, we don't make anything. In fact, it's an expensive hobby.
Yes.
So even if they are a couple of hours away, we'll try to set up a time if there's nobody in their area that is capable or has experience to come and say, maybe do a house cleansing or, talk to them. Maybe they think they have an attachment, those kind of things. Also, there are always the hot spots that you want to go to. Everybody knows about this place. Everybody knows about Baker Hotel in Mineral Wells, or the Skirvin here in Oklahoma City, which I've never stayed at, by the way. I don't know what's wrong with me. Or you have people like, hey, I really think there's something going on in my house, and I'd like to know if it's A, my mom, or B, do I need to worry about it? So we do those private residential cases just for, to give people answers and a peace of mind of what's going on and how they can live peacefully with an entity that may not realize that they are no longer living. So we get it through a bunch of different ways.
Well, Jeri, you are amazing, and I could talk to you all night about your stories, and I hope that we can do 100 more episodes, and you just tell me.
I would love that.
Yes, tell me about all your investigations, and I want to hear about all of them.
I will.
Because you are fantastic. And so tell everyone that's listening, where they can find you, contact you, or just get more information and see those amazing videos of yours.
Okay. Well, I'm on Facebook. I have my personal Facebook, Jeri Beavers, of course. And then I have I started a blog in January, so it's Jeri Beavers Paranormal Investigator. And on Instagram, I am Jeri B, Paranormal Investigator. So if you find me as Jeri Beavers or Jeri B, then you'll find find both, actually. Or you can email me at jeri.pio@yahoo.com. My phone number is probably plastered over all the military base bathrooms in the world, so my phone number is out there too. That's a whole nother lifetime ago. So. Right. I told you I was a hot mess, right?
Oh, that is fun. That is fun. So everybody look for Jeri's phone number in the bathroom, I guess.
Yes, on military bases.
On military bases.
Maybe maybe Second Fleet. Okay, they started Fleet Week for me. So.
Oh, you were too much fun.
But, yeah.
Jeri, thank you again, and I want to catch up very soon. Okay?
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Jeri.
Be sure to check out our website at hillcityparanormal.com. And thank you for listening.